Hello, everybody. It is your Uncle Fish back again for School Fish Art Stream. J-Man wants a Gatling gun on the end of his tail. Oh my goodness. J-Man says the tail's where you put all the heavy artillery. Yeah. Said he used to have a howitzer on the end of his tail. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to School of Fish Art Stream every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on all the Mr. Fish Comics Networks channels and what have yous. Just got done with a short TikTok live, trying to figure out how to get these all connected into the same thing. Hopefully we'll get that figured out before long. Anyway, glad to be back. Glad y'all are here. Let me get over to ye old chat, make sure that's working. Happy to be here. Happy to be with you. We've started last week, last Thursday, on last Thursday's usually Patreon only show, but it was public this Thursday because I wanted to get everybody's input on it. And we were talking about the cover for the Mighty KAAW, the Cro-Magnon issue 2, the Homage cover. Like last time we did the Barbarian Homage, and this time we decided to do on the show as a whole, as a unit, as a collective, as a family, we decided to get on and do some of our favorite 80s heroes and stuff. And not just like Saturday morning cartoons. Like that was my first thought. But then everybody started yelling out suggestions like John McClane and all kinds of stuff. What about my unit? I don't know what you mean by that, Mr. Silva. Not that I want to necessarily draw a picture of your unit. But, spread it out to ideas like, Ripley from Aliens, Ghostbusters, and stuff. So, on the show last week, we drew in the Mighty KAAW, the Cro-Magnon. We drew Pursuit Mode Knight Rider. We did the Roadrunner, the Rocketeer. I think the Rocketeer was PJ's idea. The DeLorean from Back to the Future. This morning on my TikTok art stream, I did Cheetar from the Thundercats, and got my old tiny boy Ultraman in the back. These days he's hoping to be as big as old Uncle Fish, but until then, he ain't mountain size, he's just hill size. $6 million man. Okay. Drop it in. Mr. Silva out there thinking thoughts, coming up with ideas, being creative. Man, okay. I got you, man. Let's look up some $6 million pics. That could be he'd be really cool in the foreground. You probably have to be in the foreground to get the likeness well enough to be able to recognize him right away. $6 million. Is there ever a cartoon version? Oh, I'm thinking of the toy. That's what I'm thinking of. Thinking of the toy that stuck. Let's see. $6 million man. Getting lots of front on pictures, but I want to do a picture of him running. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Ninja Turtles. See? Oh, yeah. You talking my language, man. $6 million man running. And he's running the wrong way in all of them. need him running the other way. And the image I remember as a kid is him, I thought, with these white patches on his jacket, but those are all sensors on his jacket. Oh yeah, man, the Bionic 6 cartoon was freaking awesome, dude. I loved that. Oh man, the Bionic 6. Well, let me put the Bionic Man in here first. Let's get him in there. And that don't even look like it. I need a picture of his face in profile. Well, that'll have to do, I guess. That'll have to do, donkey. That'll do. All right. Let's turn that back on. And I'm going to have him way up in the foreground. Having to get a little creative here. So I'm having to flip it in my head. You know what? I'm not doing that. I'm just taking a picture of it. So, and then I'm going to come over here and grab it. So excuse me for a second while I talk to myself. All right. Image. Edit. And then we're going to come back over here so I can see what I'm doing. We're going to come back over here. And move him over here close. We're going to say okay to that. We're going to move that down under here so we can see what we're doing. And now we can see all the mistakes that we made. All the ain't quite rights that we put in there because we don't want the ain't quite rights. Whoops, I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. Okay. And his hair is going to be backwards, but we're just going to have to do that because if I don't do it that way, I don't think it's going to read as him as quickly because the part will be all in the way. I hate not having a really clear picture of him to work off of, but everything is pretty grainy from those old shows. This is one of the best ones I could find, especially that had him anywhere near the right position I needed for running. I smooth thought those were white patches on his jogging suit. Because, man, I had so many stickers and stuff with him with that on it. I almost just want to put white patches on it just because that's the way I remember him. Even though they're not patches, but they're not white patches. There's 6 of them. Is that where he puts his $1,000,000? No, they're like, when you really get in there, they're like electrode packs, like for heart monitors and stuff. So they could, I'm guessing, so they could monitor him while he was running in that scene. But that scene, like, he always, often, not always, but often had the red jumpsuit on, especially in the beginning, from what I remember. But that was just a scene where they were testing him in the opening scenes. And but that's also like where the camera stopped in the opening scenes and the logo shot up over him, and it was just the iconic image of him. But all right, get a good outline around him. Make the opacity 100%. And then we're going to select everything outside of him, as we did before. And apparently we missed a couple of spots. Got through somewhere. Clip Studio is also really good about when you do stuff like this. It's really good about guessing. Like, if you have his arm sticking out to one side and there's an open space inside, the negative space inside his arm there, it's usually really good at guessing, oh, you probably wanted this to be selected too. And it's kind of creepy how good it is at it sometimes. And then every once in a while, it'll grab something weird. And I think it's trying to do that same thing. Like that section that it grabbed inside of his arm here is all closed off with outline. And I think it just kind of jumped to the conclusion. Don't start a comic book format unless you plan on paying for EX, says old BJ. Now, I will say, I made a lot of money with Clip Studio before paying for the EX upgrade. But I do love the EX upgrade. I love it. I prefer it. I paid extra so that me and my son could both use it, and I could use it on both of my computers at the same time. It's definitely worth it. Oh, you're talking about the whole book at one time format? Yeah. That's one thing that the EX version will do is you can put all the pages of a book together into one big file and work on it as a whole. And there's some things that are really handy in doing that. Like, there's some changes that you can make that'll make to the whole book, and that can be really nice. And it's really nice for outputting, like, to a PDF, because it's already got it laid out in pages and stuff. I don't use it very often because working with that many 600 DPI resolution pages open for me, because I work at a high resolution, ends up slowing me down and slowing my computer down too much. So I still tend to do a whole bunch of separate pages. but that is something really nice. And when I go to output it to a PDF now, I tend to like output the pages at the printer's resolution or at like 150 DPI if I'm doing my PDF that I'm sending out to backers. And then I will make a comic book in that file and put them all together because it's really good at like combining pages to make a double page spread and outputting that, where the other ways I'd put out PDFs would mess up when it did stuff like that. So it is good for that. I just don't use it most of the time until I'm actually putting the book together. PJ says, "Yeah, I all of a sudden can't access basically every page I did because the EX trial expired." Oh, dude, yeah, that sucks. And when I moved, I got a new laptop, and I started working from it, and I uploaded everything over there, and I uploaded EX on there. And then when I got my new desktop after that and loaded it up, I couldn't load EX on my desktop without taking it off of my laptop. And I didn't want to do that, so I left it. And I made lots of money going back to doing it this way. But like, I don't use that aspect that often, so I didn't really miss out. But yeah, if you set your pages up that way, yeah, that can suck because you can't get back into them. I like to say the regular Clip Studio Paint has all of the bells and most of the whistles that EX does. Being able to put your pages together in one big book file like that is something that the lower version doesn't have an option for. A whole lot of things like there's a whole lot of tools in the 3D characters. Like you can use the 3D characters in the regular version, but there's just extra add-ons and cool stuff and cool adjustments that you can make in the EX version. But not necessarily. But that's not one of them. The page thing is only there, and yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry, but on the other hand, the EX upgrade, it's absolutely worth it. Like, so if you can save up the money to get it, man, it is. I would recommend it. It is a good upgrade. I've never regretted it. Okay, convert layer to image material. Okie dokie. And now we have us a movable $6 million man. I think I want to leave him back here though, because I'm kind of thinking I want to put the Thunder Tank over here. Thunder Tank now for reference till we get some other suggestions of what we want to put in there. $6 Million Man was a good one. Thunder Thighs. Thunder Tank images. I'm just gonna have to save lip for it. Like you said, I got other projects to work on anyways. Absolutely. BJ putting in some good work on some awesome projects. It's gonna be crazy cool when they're done. I, for one, am excited. Thinking, kind of been debating about having the Thunder Tank in the foreground. And we got stuck with the little wheel as it's spinning as we're trying to save. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and save. Let's just go ahead and save. Come on, open back up, phone. It's done closed up on me. On.
I'm not sure.
Oh, Alexa hooks. I ain't talking. She thinks just because I'm talking nonsense, I'm talking to her. Crazy computer. Don't you know no better, computer? I might have one of these paws up and one down because I just think that's cool. No, I don't think it's it. I think he'd be a little bit further back. All right, now let's find a good picture of Panthro. And I'm tempted. I did the 80's version of Chitara. I'm almost tempted to do the 2000s version. Of Panthro. He was awesome. I dare say he was cooler. And granted, he's not the 80's version, so, you know, maybe I'm going to lose my 80's geek card. But, man, he's so badass. And he had pants. Which it just always kind of, I don't know if that made me uncomfortable, but I'm just like, how can Panthro be the baddest dude out there and be wearing panties? It just, something didn't vibe with that. He was trying to force the superhero aesthetic, and it just didn't work in that case. To me, it's just personal. It didn't seem to make him tougher to me. It seemed to make him weird. But that's just me as a kid, you know. Kids get crazy ideas. Don't hold it against little fishy. Grown fishies, this Panthro can wear ladies' undergarments if he wants to. I'm not going to judge his butt kicking ability by the amount of lingerie that he wears. Wouldn't do that. But little fishy just didn't think it was quite as cool as Panthro deserved to be, because Panthro is obviously the most awesome of them all. And if we're going to be potentially putting in the Dolph Lundgren He-Man, then I think we can stick in this Panther. I think yeah. Oh, no. Kind of thing in the back there, I think. Oh, he's way too big. Man, why did PJ let me make him way too big? Man. PJ's supposed to be looking out. He's just sitting there letting me draw my panthros way too big. And then he's letting me use the wrong version of the selection tool. So I was cutting instead of adding. Oh, man. Ain't no account. That's what I'm telling you. Ain't no account. He needs to be blocked. Compared to the Thunder Tank. I'm sorry, man. I am not as Twitch literate as I should be. I apologize for that. That's true. That is true. Most of the badass wrestlers don't wear pants either. But again, like I said, I think that's something where the superhero aesthetic didn't end up translating as well into these alien cats from another world. Like, it just came off as weird. And why have suspenders? Why have spiked suspenders on your panties? It doesn't read right. It doesn't read ninja. And they were trying to go for ninja with him. They got him with the little ninja booties and the nunchucks. It just didn't feel right. I prefer Twitch because YouTube has like 15 to 30-second delay on live streams. The only badass wrestler I can think of that wears pants is The Undertaker. I mean, there were a lot of them that wore tight pants. But, there's a lot of them that wore like the full spandex breeches, but not as many as wore the shorty shorts. That is true. Which again is a throwback to like, the old school vaudeville strongmen and acrobats and whatnot, You need suspenders to ensure the underwear doesn't fall down. When you're doing your ninja high kicks and using your freezing fire nunchucks, flying through the air, being the badass of badass Thundercats, don't want your panties to slip. So you need to get you some spiked suspenders. So when you do those high blocks, you poke your ears out. Can't. And knowing is half the battle, Captain said. Don't ask me how I know about Panthro's python. I don't want to tell, says Guy. How do you think I got so rich, says Kyron. That Thundercats hush money was rolling thick back in the 80s, Kyron says. I just went back and rewatched Thundercats recently. And I've tried rewatching a lot of shows that I loved from my childhood, and very few of them hold up and are rewatchable because, like, some of them get rough. Thundercats was actually pretty good. Like He-Man, I can't rewatch. I loved He-Man, but I can't go back. Is that cat wrestling a snake? Thundercats have a don't tell policy about certain things. Like He-Man, I can't go back and rewatch. I love He-Man for the nostalgia from back in the day, but the original series is just I can't. It's so bad. The 2000 or whatever series on, yeah, I can rewatch, but the first one, the Filmation one, much as I love it, I can't do it. But Thundercats was pretty good. I mean, it's a little goofy in places, and it's a little rough, and some of it's a little contrived, and you've just got to accept the fact that the Sword of Omens has the power of whatever we need to get out of this hole we dug ourselves in. Because like towards the end, it even like lets you fly and teleport and stuff. How handy would that have come in the first season? But that's neither here nor there. That's over. But man, it out of everything I've gone back to rewatch so far, it was pretty good. It was not as bad as I thought it would be. I'm thinking. Did you watch the anime style remake of the Thundercats? Oh, abso-freaking-lutely, dude. The like 2010 one was the best. It was everything I ever hoped Thundercats would be. It's everything I ever hoped Thundercats would evolve to be eventually on Third Earth as a kid. And it dealt with so many cool issues like classism and racism and, having to come to terms with the fact that Lino had always been in the privileged upper class and didn't realize that he was privileged and had to come to realize that, the whole Thundercats way of ruling the world wasn't in everybody's best interest the way he had always been told it was. And maybe we got to change some things and come together as a world. It was freaking phenomenal. If they hadn't have stuck it on Saturday mornings, it probably would have been the hugest hit of all. But they wanted to bring Saturday mornings back to life. But everybody that watches new releases on Cartoon Network are all adults that are asleep or hungover on Saturday morning and not up early watching it, and it just freaking killed it. All of a sudden, the hero has new abilities? Sounds like some comic books I know. Yep. Showing up, dude. And diddly diddly doo. All right. You know what I was gonna do? Like a fool. I was gonna look up an old picture of Optimus Prime on the phone. Optimus Prime. How the hell do you spell Optimus? Okay, there we go. Optimus Prime Transformer. And it's going to be movies. 80's. 80's cartoon. Images. Roll out! Okay, that should be good enough. Edit. I'm not in edit. That's why it's not working, because I'm not in the right. Dumaflachi. Dumaflachi is the technical term. For the Kyrens and the PJs out there trying to replicate the process. Camouflage is the technical term for I lost where my Optimus Prime was supposed to be. Okay, that puts him right. I'd say that makes him about right scale for a semi truck with the rest of those guys. Well, Chitara anyway. So okay, I'm gonna put him right yonder. Another technical term. It's a cartography term. Right yonder, when you're drawing them out, and you lost where something was supposed to be, and you ask your friend, "Where was that South America continent supposed to be again?" And your friend looks at you, points to the page, and says, "Right yonder." And you thank him profusely. At least that's how we did it back in my day. Pepperidge Farm remembers. You know what I just noticed? Uh-oh. I just noticed my whole screen disappeared on my computer. You can still see it, but I couldn't see it for a second. I just noticed we've got a disturbing lack of Sarah's and Katie's on the show this morning. Which I've been talking to Sarah a lot lately, so I'm not going to take it personal. She's got a lot on her plate right this second. But Katie ain't here. I am going to take that personal. Just give her a hard time. What's a friend, Kyron says. It's that thing that you can't buy. That one thing. That's a lie. You can buy friends. I'll be able to buy good ones. You can buy lots of them. After all, it's the quantity that matters. Well, you have enough people over at the party enjoying all your fancy things. Shut off all the horrible voices in your head. That's what Kyra tells me. This arm is good. It's surprising to me, I never drew Transformers. Like, as much as I loved them, I mean, I did draw some mech suits because, like, you know, Transformers and Voltron and stuff all hit at the same time, and, you know, relatively for me, and I wanted to build my own gigantic robot mech suit to save the world in. And so, like, I drew some of my own, but I never drew the Transformers. Like, I never learned to draw them like some of my friends did. Kind of weird, but I never really cared for learning to draw other people's stuff. Like, I never really drew fan art of Spider-Man growing up, and he was one of my favorite heroes, but I wanted to tell my own stories already by that point. The weird thing is, I have more friends online than I have in person now that I'm old, says BJ. Absolutely, man. I was just talking about that with my wife last night because we were talking about just like how different our Facebook pages are and stuff. And like I was talking to Sarah a lot yesterday, and and to my wife, it's kind of weird that I can be such close friends with people that I've never met in person. But also, like, her Facebook page, my wife has like 300 friends or something on Facebook, and she was like, I thought that was a lot. And then she met me, and I was about to, hit that 5,000 limit on mine. But I was like, we use our pages for very, very different things. And, my page was set to public a long time ago to do, Tourette's outreach and stuff. So anybody that needed to get a hold of me could. And hers is just people that she actually knows from real life. And we were talking about how, like, now I remember when my page used to just be people that I knew in real life, and like, just 50 people that I knew from church and whatnot. And that was the first time my Facebook page got hacked. And I had to explain to all these little old ladies at church why that wasn't me that did that, and none of them believed it. I never put anything on my Facebook page that I didn't intend to. They'd never been hacked either. They couldn't understand the concept. But, and then very soon after, my page became a public page, and I'm like, and now most of my closest friends that I talk to every day are people like Kyron and Danny J. Quick and Phil that I've never met in person anywhere. We just know each other from hanging out online. And like, me and Tony Clapper hadn't met in person until the first time I went to FSK Day. And that was after I did my first issue of 5 Star, and we'd started doing the show together. And all of that stuff. My wife has more online friends than I do. Some of them even live in the same town, but they met online and never hang out in person. Yeah. And like, I started thinking about it, and I was like, there's probably, the people on my friends list that I actually like have met in person, even just, like, relatively casually, is still probably higher than hers. Like, it's probably 500 people or so. But even being autistic, I'm a bit more of a social butterfly. It's just part of the mask that I picked up. But out of those, like, people that I really know pretty well and have like hung out at their house or something or whatnot and talk to every 6 months or so, it's probably only like 100 people or so. Karen over there being a silly. As the 1%ers will do. Sitting here having to look at the reference to figure out how to draw his little super diaper. And I'm like, man, I know so many people that would be laughing at me for having to look at a reference for that, because they've drawn it a billion times and it's just they've got it all memorized. I do not. Alright, I'm gonna call that enough for right now because most of these legs and feet are probably gonna get covered. So I've got the main shapes in, and if I need to go back and detail one of them or something, like if one leg ends up sticking out of all of the background stuff, then I can do that. But chances are good it's gonna end up getting covered with other characters and other things, but I want to get this outline as tight as I can around the outside of it, so it makes it easy to tell where one character starts and stops and where the other does, and makes it easier to select around it. Okay. That's good enough for the Karens we date. Select that outside, like we did before. There we go. Give it an old delete, and there we go. We got us a big old masculine transform. We're gonna convert it into an almost as masculine image material. Now we can just move him wherever we feel the need. I feel the need, boys and girls, to move him down below the thunder tank. There we go. See, that's already coming along pretty cool. You ask me. Nobody did. I'm not gonna take that personal. Just gonna think y'all inconsiderate. Nobody asked. Timu, I don't care what you want to tell me. I don't want to fall for no more of your tricks trying to buy your cheap garbage. Though they do have some cool cheap garbage, like I got this little cheap garbage horsey, who's all adjustable in every which ways. Hard to get him to stand up, and I broke his little stand right away. But he's just about in scale with my little Figma figures, and so it'll come in handy. Kyron didn't get all the draw the Ninja Cowboy jobs, and drawing all the westerns and stuff out there and not leaving any horses for the rest of us to draw. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, man. This thing, I got it at Temu. Hold on, let me embiggen myself for a second. There we go. And he's like almost in the right scale for the Figma figures. And I was talking to Katie about this because she knows a lot more about horses than I do. And she's like, the horse is a wee bit small, but it's close enough for what I need. And if I know they're a little bit big on the horse, I can shrink them down in my head a little bit when I'm looking at it. But yeah, man, I got this thing for like $5 or something on Temu. Temu's kind of scammy. Like they got a lot of tricks and gimmicks in there to make you want to buy more stuff. But like, y'all probably saw on my Facebook post, $15, and I've got all of these metal gun keychains and there's all kinds of different weapons, and they're actually like really detailed. They're a little bit flat, but they got lots of detail, and they're big enough for me to see them clearly and be able to like look at it from different angles and get all the details that I need. Here's one with a freaking grenade launcher on it. Um, I couldn't have bought that many toy guns for $15. That freaking rocks, and I can hang it on a nail here by my desk and have all the gun references I need. Uh, Kyron says, "Man, I just logged on to Facebook and saw a post from a writer showing off artwork for his next project, a project he wanted me to draw last month." What the hell? Yeah, that happens. I get a whole lot of requests like, "Oh man, you're a perfect artist for the project I want to do. What's your page rate? I'm ready to go." This Nat is freaking immortal. He's been in here for 2 weeks. I don't know what he's surviving on. There's no food in here. But he's drawn to these yellow lights. So every time I start doing a show, he kicks up here and he's buzzing around my face the whole time. Anyway, I'll have people hit me up like, "Oh man, yeah, you're perfect for this job. I want you to do it. You're the only guy that will be able to do it right. What's your page rates?" And so I send them, my list of page rates, and my page rate is adjustable. It slides depending on how you want to pay. And like if you only want to pay one page at a time because you're not comfortable and you're afraid the artist's going to run off with your money and you had a bad experience, I understand. That's one price. And then I offer significant discounts for the more you're willing to prepay up front. Like if you're willing to prepay for a whole book, that's a significant discount on that price because it lets me work at full speed. I don't get stuck page by page waiting for you to get home and approve the pages after work. I can just burn through all the pencils in the book and then you get a chance to look at them after work. I can start burning through all the inks real quick and it lets me get done faster. I'm not having to hustle for extra work because I sent you the pencils and now I'm stuck until you get off of work. So now I'm out looking for a pinup to do today to fill in the space so I've got something to do. And it helps. I still get to make money at that rate because I get to get whole lot more pages done per day at that rate than doing one at a time. If I can only do one at a time, then that's going to cost a little more. And invariably they ask me, we go over it, and I'm like, "All right, great, man, thanks." And then they'll announce 2 months later that they're going with somebody else. Yeah, I totally get it. I'm not cheap. Like I used to be cheap because I was trying to get my foot in the door. Now that I've got work to do and I've got my own work to be doing, I'm absolutely open for commissions and open for working on other projects. But also, like, it needs to be at this point for me to not be working on my own stuff. Like Kyron's always working on his own stuff, making, more of his books. If I'm not going to be pursuing my own brand, it needs to be worth the time, for me to do it, to be able to not only pay my bills while I'm doing this, but be able to earn some money to pay my bills to do my own stuff. And not everybody can afford that, especially not if you're used to hiring, Filipino kids that have never done a comic book for $20 a full color page. And then be shocked when they ghost you. Okay. Man. Now I'm trying to think, what do I want to do next? Like, thought about the Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters would be cool. Hmm. All right. Let's look for some pictures of Ecto 1. All right. Let's see. Let's look that up a little bit. We'll draw it. Get back over so I can see the comments. Oh, you could just do Slimer if you don't want to do all the Ghostbusters. Yeah, I could. If I wanted to take the easy way out, that would be the smart thing. If I was a smart man, Jenny, I would probably just do Slimer. But I've never been a smart man, Jenny. I've never been a do it the easy way kind of guy. I've always been a, oh, you think that's the hard way? I'll show you the hard way kind of guy. You know, what? Oh, wait a minute. That needs to come up a little bit. I forget where I am in the perspectives. And I've been torn. I've been thinking about, do I want to do the animated series Ghostbusters or do the, kind of think I want to go animated series because that had so much of a longer life. And I think it'd be kind of cool to have the animated dudes hanging out the windows. One thing I did learn to draw from memory, like I learned how to draw completely, was the Ghostbuster symbol. Man, I memorized that thing. I didn't know why the lines were the way they were, or the line thicknesses and stuff, but man, I memorized it. Had that down. Let's see. Let's look for. Got a question from the printer real quick about the Mighty KAAW, and I got to give him an answer so the books will get shipped out today. Because he was under the impression that he had to wait for me to send the sketch covers back to him to put into the packages, so he was waiting on that. So, good deal. That'll get those sent out hopefully today then. And the sketch covers will be coming out soon, depending on whether or not I end up having to take an impromptu road trip all of a sudden, which might happen. But, when you got friends and loved ones in need, what are you going to do but hit the road and go be there for them when they need you? 'Cause that's the type of friend I are. People think old Fishy just talk and talk when he says, I'm going to be there for you. Old Fishy don't know how to talk. He don't know how to say things and not do. I are a weirdo. I are autistic. I do what I say. Say is what I do. At least I'm willing to. But if we're friends, you suddenly have a need, you need help, my butt's hitting the road. So I may just be hitting the road real quick. We're going to see how some things pan out. Chances are good I may be taking a road trip soon I wasn't planning on taking, but that's okay. That's what I do. Makes me happy to help. And even when I have given of myself and my time in the most sacrificial of ways, God has yet to not have my back in the situation and have me come out okay in the end. Okay, wait a second. Why is that so big? That's what she said. Yeah. So, if I put that seam in the window, right there in the middle of that staple line, I could have one dude hanging out the front window, and like I could have Peter hanging out the front and Ray hanging out the back, and that would. But for some reason, it got a little bit of a frame around it. So we're going to convert that, delete that, and then we're going to convert this back to an image material layer, and hopefully it'll be the same size as it was supposed to be. There we go. Now it's a nice, easy, maneuverable little bit of stuff. Yep, that means we should be getting the books on time. That's awesome. Yep, it's been stressing me out that it's taking this long. It's like the book was done, just had to wait for the Kickstarter money, and then I had to send it to the printers. And when I first contacted them about printing the books, like they were kind of dead, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can get them out right now if you got it. If you're ready to go." I'm like, "Well, I still got to run the Kickstarter. I'm just trying to plan. How long is it going to take?" And then there were so many awesome books coming out at the same time at Kickstarter. All of a sudden, they got busy and they got slammed. It's been a little hard to get communication back and forth because they've been so busy, and Barry got sick and stuff. Well, these bugs going around ain't no joke here lately. The grandbaby's throwing up all over the place the other day. Now my wife and son are sick. I don't know if me being a neat freak germaphobe is gonna help or not. Hopefully, keep me from getting too sick. I hope. All right. An hour and 10 minutes now. Let's see if we can get one of the Ghostbusters in the window. All right, I'm gonna look up reference material for the Ghostbusters. All right. Edit. Fix to show. That'll work well enough. And then we're going to duplicate the blue layer that we're working on and turn it on. And raise the opacity a little bit. And let's see how well we can match this. Oh, skinny head. Back on. It really bugged me when the cartoon came out and they all had on different colored costumes. I know they don't think kids are going to be able to tell anybody apart if it's not super crazy, obviously spelled out, but dang. And partially, it's probably partly to be a little bit easier on the animators so they don't have to try and make it look as much like the character and they don't have to worry as much about keeping the look perfect every single frame because he's wearing a brown suit and blue trim so you can tell it's him, but man, that bugged me. All right, that's pretty good for rough right now. Let's see. I think we'll have Ray sitting out the window. Let's see, what's that? Good deal. I will be deluged with shipping notices this afternoon. That's a great thing. That's an awesome thing. Good deal. The books are coming. Yep, I'm going through Kablam. Absolutely. I will admit the people that have complained about the message center in Kablam, it can be tricky. It's not necessarily set up the best. And I could totally understand how some people could be frustrated sometimes because it is a small family business and there's like 3 people working there that, you know, maybe they don't, I don't know what your beef is. Sometimes people, expect faster service or something when there's only 3 people there working, and sometimes they get busy and have a lot of stuff to do and can't get back to you as fast as the automated, Amazon Prime message center can or something. But I dig Barry. He's a good dude. And I know my friends that have used their shipping fulfillment service before have all sworn by it. And so I wanted to go with something that I knew worked from my friends that have used it before. And not to mention working with somebody that I know, like if there is a problem, I can just message Barry or Jenny and be like, hey, I couldn't find this, or did this upload correctly, or when I had to upload new versions of the pages, because I had put I'd put a filter over the pages to look like paper texture, which I thought was going to, really add to it. And on the computer, it looked great. On the printed copies that I got, it kind of muddied the image up a little bit. It wasn't bad. It was just a little bit. But I wanted to change that and make it cleaner. And so being able to double check with a friend and be like, hey, I just sent this to upload. Did it go through okay? And get a message back like, yeah, it worked. You did a good job. Great. That's the kind of service that I know I can get from my friends that I might not necessarily be able to get from somebody else that might not have the time for that. But I may try somebody else sometime, but I've always been happy with the service from Kabloom. Not that I haven't seen an occasional mistake on other jobs, things happen, but then that also could be, you're from putting something in the wrong place or not uploading it correctly, or like things happen. So I gotta say, after having them do the shipping fulfillment this time, it's nice to not have to worry about that, and it seems like everything's going to work well and go off without a hitch. But I do kind of miss the being able to sign everything easily and like add in extra stickers or something if I wanted to. Or so I'll probably be doing my own shipping on the next one and just have the book shipped to me. But this time around, I wanted to give it a shot and save myself that hassle. But since I'm fixing to start selling all my own books and stuff on my own website soon, thanks to old PJ, old PU, or whichever pseudonym he's going by at the moment, I'm gonna have to get I'm gonna have to set up my own pirate ship and all that stuff account, and so yeah, a whole lot of people have had to close their doors through COVID and stuff, and that's a shame. And it's a tough business. I mean, it is a really tough business. And like, I was asking Barry's advice on printers because I mean he uses a whole lot more printers and stuff in a lot bigger capacity than I ever have. But I've been looking at getting a high quality printer to be able to do my own like posters and stuff at shows. And let's see where it is. Here we go. All right, we're going to convert that layer with the guys on it to an image material layer as well. And then just making sure we're going to grab both of those image material layers and we are going to put them in a folder. So now that folder has both of them in it, and I can move that folder around with both of those separate pieces in it. But if I need to move the pieces, I can't. Fast friend of mine has said he's looking to buy his own printer. I tell you, Danny J. Quick talked about that, and it's a tempting idea. It is a tempting idea, but man, like, and like I was talking to Barry about it, about the printers and stuff, and like one of the things I didn't know was that the rollers and things like that in a laser printer are consumable and only get so many prints out of them before you have to replace the rollers and stuff too, not just the toner. I didn't know that. I just thought you had to replace the toner. And he was telling me that he spends more on replacing the rollers and some other part, a film or something, that goes into making the prints per month than he spends leasing the machines out. I didn't know that that was a cost involved in it at all. I thought it was just toner. And, you know, that changes the stuff altogether, like if you're looking at getting a laser printer. So, you know, I'm glad I talked to him about that because I didn't know those parts going into it. Because I was thinking about getting a laser printer to be able to do my own stickers and things without having to worry about them getting smudged. And I know a whole lot of people use inkjet printers to do stickers and laminate them and all these things. But if I could get away without having to laminate them, that seemed nice. But I didn't know that there were other expenses in a laser printer than what I knew of, because my experience with inkjets is not the same as with the laser printer. And he was like, you know, most people don't have that same kind of experience with inkjets because they're not printing 20,000 sheets a month through their printers like he is. So they don't go through stuff as fast as he does. But, and I wouldn't be doing that myself no matter what I did with it. But, you know, something to think about for sure. Something I didn't know. All right. Anyway, we're at almost an hour and a half, so I'm going to call it a day there for this, because I've got other things that I got to get done today too, and I got to go to the bank and stuff. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. We got a lot done on this today. I think we got enough on here for me to make a couple of old social media posts and share it out. Maybe we'll get some folks to come hang out with us on the next one and add some more stuff to it. I don't know if I should do this Thursday's episode public as well. So maybe I'll have to put a little poll up for the Patreon viewers and see if they mind, because I'd like to get some more input on this. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you chilling with me today while I'm working. And for those that tune in later, thank you for watching it. If you have more ideas that you'd like to see me spit into the next bit of the 80s homage wraparound cover for the Mighty KAAW issue 2 coming soon, tune in next week, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on all the Mr. Fish Comics channels, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and come hang out and comment. We did get a lot done, Kyron says. We absolutely did. Thank you guys. I will see some of y'all on Thursday on the Patreon only one. If it's not public, we'll see. Anyway, peace out. Have a good day. I'll holler at y'all later. Your Uncle Fishy loves you. Bye.
Hello, everybody. It is your Uncle Fish back again for School Fish Art Stream. J-Man wants a Gatling gun on the end of his tail. Oh my goodness. J-Man says the tail's where you put all the heavy artillery. Yeah. Said he used to have a howitzer on the end of